I forgot the microphone. Thank you, whoever that was. Who was it? Oh, Emma. Thank you, Emma. Forgot the microphone. Good evening, darlings, and a very warm welcome on what is for many a very cold night to Saturday Night Live, darlings. And yeah, well, I mean, batten down the hatches. We're in for a bit of a weather event, I fear. So let me begin by saying that I hope you are. I hope you're all warm and safe and comfortable, and remain so as we go through the night when the weather is going to get somewhat worse. So never mind, we'll all cuddle up together, we'll cuddle up and we'll huddle up and we'll tickle each other and feed each other pickled onion flavour Monster Munch or possibly roast beef flavour. Which did you prefer? Uh, and we will make it through into the early hours of Sunday morning, and then we'll all head off to bed, darlings, and cuddle up under the bedclothes. And no, no shenanigans. Thank you very much. Not. God. So there we are. What's going to happen tonight? All of the normal crap. God knows what we'll end up talking about. Hedgehog of Truth is here should you wish to deploy him. There's a box here that needs damn good pounding. There's a portable community electric telephone device thingy on which you can leave a voice note should you wish to. Oh, blimey. God, it's cold. God, it's cold. I've turned the heating up. The heating was down to 18 again when I walked in, and it was chilly, 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 chilly. It was chilly. It was chilly, darlings. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It was chilly. It still is chilly, darlings. Right. Let's have a slurp of the old wine, and then I'll get into your comments, which, as always, are very much the meat and vegetables of this Jubilee pancake. Oh God. Oh, I started hiccuping already. Oh, it's going to be one of those. There's another one coming on. I can feel it. There it was. And another one. They were only minor ones. I managed to quell them, and I'm now going to work through them in a very professional way. So, yeah, slurp of wine coming up. Yeah, because God knows we need something to get us through tonight, my lovelies. Oh, what? I should cocoa. I should rub it up. I'll go to the foot of our stairs. Godspeed the plough, etc. Cheers, your very good health. Bottoms up yours. And above all, on this winter's night, get stuffed. Oh, oh, oh. Hello. Oh, oh, oh. That was nice. Right, who we got with us? Let's have a whiz through, can we? Oh, God. Let's see who we have with us. We will have a whiz through. First cab off the rank this evening was the one, the only, your own, your very own, Carol C., the lovely Carol C., who is all over Dish of the Day like a dose of salt. What? I mean, her tactics keep changing. Right. So initially there was Sandwichgate, where she tried to win by getting every other entry banned. Then there was What's It Gate, Lobbygate, when she tried to beg, borrow, or scrounge votes by tagging everybody she's ever heard of in the Facebook group, asking them to vote for her. And today we have got, what are we going to call this one? I don't know. Smirchgate or something like that. Basically, the tactic today is to go through the other entries and say, well, that's got too many carbohydrates. That one hasn't got enough vegetables. That's no good. This is no good. I hope to God she wins one soon, otherwise it's going to be unbearable. Oh dear. Anyway, Carol C was first cab off the rank tonight. Evening, Boaty and all the bugs. I wonder what the drive home was like. Is it snowing where you are? Well, you can all answer that. I'll tell you what the situation is here. Yep, it's snowing. Is it snowing heavily? Yes, it's snowing heavily. Is it going to get heavier during the night? Yes. Are you going to be completely buggered tomorrow? Yes. Hope that answers your questions, darlings. Oh, what's wrong with this? Why is this not? Oh, I've got to put my passcode in to enable Face ID. Smeargate. Well done, Shawnee. Where would I be without my lovely Shawnee? On hand, ready to ping in with the word I can't think of, or the fact that I can't remember, or quite possibly never knew in the first place. Now, I did see that earlier on, Sean had a smattering of snow there at the head of the Rhondda Valley. Who else is with us? Stu is here. Steve Coley is here. Oh, HW100. Good evening, Boaty and all. Or HW Song. Or HW Cento, if you prefer. Jolly good evening to you. Carol C's in bed, all warm and under the dovet, and there is no snow there yet. Yes, you're right, Steve. It is why. Exposing yourself on the web is a perilsome pursuit, says Stuart. He's got a point. HW100 says, how long have you lived at Windy Bottom, and what brought you to such a remote cottage, if you don't mind telling? I don't mind in the least. I will have been here in Windy Bottom, I think, in about April, something like that. April or May, it will be either 10 or 11 years that I've been here at Windy Bum, and hasn't that time flown? How has that time flown? My God. Seems like yesterday in a way. Certainly doesn't seem like a decade. One of the longest times I've lived in the same place, although I haven't lived here kind of continually, because there were, however long it was, 3 years, 4 years, where I still had here, and I still spent 1 or maybe 2 nights a week here, usually 1 night a week. But I was actually living at the Cabbage Patch in Matlock Bath with Boo and Little Miss. What brought me here? Well, I'd love to tell you that it was a beautifully romantic story, or that it was a rebellion against the fact that I lost the last place. But I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth, because the hedgehog is here and he's looking at me, so I daren't lie. After my divorce, I moved into a nondescript, semi-detached in a village on the outskirts of Chesterfield, place called Wingerworth, if you're interested. And it was a nondescript semi, had a garage. It was at the bottom of a very steep hill that was troublesome in winter, and that it had a driveway to the garage that was ridiculous. It was like 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 or something like that. But it had a nice garden, a little bit of a view. It wasn't too bad. It was kind of the best of a bad bunch that I could find and that I could afford to rent after the divorce, where, of course, I lost everything. Everything went. So I tried to make the best of Farcorf, as I called it. Farcorf. F-A-R space C-O-R-F-E. I always wanted to live somewhere called Too Effing Close Farcorf, and I've never managed it. So, yeah, so I just called it Farcorf. And I tried to make the best of it, tried to make it as nice as I could, and spend some money on it. Stupidly in retrospect. I didn't have any money, but I was working my ass off at Sainsbury's, working highly illegal hours. and I just tried my best to improve it. And as always with a private rental property, you have a 6 month initial contract, and uh, whether it was because of the improvements that I've done, or I don't know whether it was a coincidence or what, I don't know. But I'd been there about 4 months when I got notice to quit. I got notice from the letting company that the landlord had decided that at the end of the initial 6 month period there would be no renewal. And I remember that day very well. It depressed me incredibly. It was my dad caring day. It was my day off. So I was heading down to do the hardest day's work of my life, as they always were, going down to care for dad, do all his, sort all of the laundry, clean the place from top to bottom, do all of his shopping. And, I got that letter in the morning before setting off. I was also, at that point, I was still doing some stuff for the BBC, for BBC Wales. Not very regularly, but still doing the odd bit. And I had to do a piece for them remotely via a phone link um, during an afternoon show, which was going to be when I was down at Dad's. And I remember having to do that when, I'll be honest with you, I remember posting on Facebook that the divorce had knocked me about such a lot. And then, trying to cope with, the idea of moving into this nondescript little semi, uh, and um, and then having, made all of the effort with it and made it home, and so on and so on and so on. And then 4 months in to get notice to quit. I just thought, I remember thinking, and I posted on Facebook, and I remember thinking, I can't cope with this. This is more than I can cope with. And if this is how life is going to be moving forward, then I'm not really interested. And I was genuinely suicidal. Um, and yeah, I posted not not really a cry for help, not a goodbye note or something, but I just posted something factual on Facebook saying this has happened. I don't think I can bear it. I don't think I can cope with it. Um, I can't. I don't want to have to go through this anymore. I don't want to have to go through trying somehow to find a new place because I didn't have any money. I'd spent it all on that house, what little I had. And my friends all did all of the normal things that you would expect them to do, and so on and so on. And I kind of calmed down a bit as the days went on, pulled myself together a little bit, and first job, I've got to find somewhere to live, haven't I? So 4 months on from doing it, I started doing the rounds again of the letting agencies and so on, and I viewed a couple of properties. I viewed one very close to where I was, uh, and God, it was awful. It was awful. And I thought, and I remember thinking that one day came and I thought, right, somehow I've got to find a way to turn this into a positive. So I did some sums and whatnot and thought, right, um, the only way I can turn this into a positive is to move into a better place than that little 2 bedroom semi, which, oh, hello, sirens outside. That'd be an ambulance, I imagine. So I thought I'll move into a nicer house that has got all the, or I'll try to move into a. So I did my sums, figured out how many hours I could do, figured out what I could afford, and started looking at different properties, thinking I'll get one with the things that I didn't have here. What I didn't have there was a dining room. Now I've always insisted on having a dining room, as in a dining room, a separate room with a big ass dining table, nice dining suite in there where you entertain and all of that. And I viewed a few properties and they were all pretty awful. There were a couple of ones that were okay, but they just went and were no longer available. And I found this brand new build in a little town called Tipshelf in Derbyshire. You might be familiar with the name because of Tipshelf services between junction 28 and 29 on the M1. And so it was a brand new build house. It was 3 or 4 bedroom. I can't remember what. It didn't have a number. It had a name, important to me, on a quietish street. It had parking for about 5 cars on the drive. It was fully detached, and there were 2 of them on this area where probably there'd been about 8 terraced houses before. And there were now these 2 detached houses. It had a low maintenance garden. It had a beautiful dining room, lovely patio doors from the living room heading out into this really nice garden. And I remember I saw it. I got an alert. It came onto the website, and I was working that night. And as it happened, I had some deliveries around Tipshelf, so I went and looked at it. And I thought, yeah, this will do. This is a step up. I can do something with this place. It was expensive, but I've done my sums, and I figured that if I was really, really careful, I could do it. So I rang up the letting agency first thing in the morning, as soon as they opened the next morning, and said, right, I'm interested in this property, blah, blah, blah. And I said, right, I know you can't give me an exact answer to this, but can you give me a sense? I explained what had happened with my last one. I said, as far as you know, is this likely to be a long-term rental, or is it more likely to be a short-term? And she said, it's a guy who, that's his business. He builds or renovates properties and rents them out. So can't be certain, but as far as I know, it's likely to be a long term. And I said, right, fine. I said, I tell you what, I'll have it. I don't need to see it. I've been and had a look around the outside. It's a brand new build. I'll have it. And she said, oh, we can't do that. We can't do that. We have to actually see you, and we have to show you around the thing. You can't just take it sight unseen. I said, okay, can you... So I made an appointment to go and see it the next day, and they agreed that they would take all of the papers with them for me to sign there and then. So there we go. I went to work again that night. The next morning, I was going first thing, had a 9 o'clock appointment to go and view the house, sign the papers, boom, job done. In we went. And I got a phone call at about 8 o'clock, something like that, in the morning, when I was just getting dressed and ready to go. And they said, it's gone. And I said, how? How has that happened? And there was no point in questioning it. But yeah, it had gone. Somebody else had got it. God knows how. God knows how. I thought I'd made the first appointment to view it. So there I was, double gutted again. Now, all of the time that I'd been looking for a property, there was one property that I was ignoring, and it was this one. I didn't even consider this one as, I didn't put it in with a chance, not a remote, what totally wasn't interested. From what I could see of it, it was too far out, to this, to that, to the other. I wanted something, not what I wanted at all, a little quirky cottage. It's not the way I saw things going. So I discounted this. Now, my Facebook friends had been on a mission all through this process, whatever it was, 2 or 3 weeks. The memories still come up on Facebook. And they're all telling me, all of them, Sarah Pridding especially, She wouldn't. Oh, and they'd all been on board. They'd all been searching for properties as well. Everybody was on board. They were, my friends are amazing. They're lovely, and they were all, desperately trying to help. And everybody was saying to me, "This is the one. This is the one." I'm saying, "No, not interested. Not interested. It's perfect. It's beautiful. It's quirky. It's got character. It's you. This is." And I said, "No, absolutely not interested." And I didn't even come to look at it. And then time started marching on, and then I started panicking. I hadn't found anything, had no joy. I hated everything that I saw, or everything was just getting taken by other people. I couldn't make it happen. And eventually, I wasn't really near the knuckle, but I think I was about 5 months in. So it was probably 4 weeks after I got the notice to quit. So I'm coming up to having a month left in my existing property. And I said to myself, you could be homeless here. You could actually be out on the street. So I decided, and I remember posting this on Facebook. I said, right, I've made an appointment to go and see that bloody cottage that you lot all seem to think is so amazing. And if it's available, I'm going to take it. And I'm telling you now, before I even go and look at it, I don't want to live there. I don't like it. But I've made an appointment to go and view it. I don't want to be homeless. So if I can take it, then I will do, despite the fact that it's to fuck, So I made the appointment. I came up and viewed it, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. But I agreed to take it. It had been on the market for ages and ages and ages. The price kept dropping and dropping and dropping, and they couldn't let it. I think it had been unlet for a year or something before I moved in, and I didn't want to live here, but I took it. I agreed to take it purely because I didn't want to be homeless, and I was so unhappy, and so I got some. I couldn't do a proper removal, but I paid a man with a van or a couple of, like not professional moving companies, some local lads with a big old Luton van who did cheap moves. And I paid them about 200 quid to shift my few meager possessions from that bloody semi-detached here. And I moved a month before my let was up on the other place, because I thought, I'm going to do it. I might as well just get it done, So I did pay for both properties for a month, but yeah, there was kind of no way around that. I was scared of being homeless, so I thought I'd rather pay a month's rent that I don't need to than have all of the last minute hassle and all of that. So that's what happened, and I moved in here. Now, the thing that bit me on the arse was the place that I'd been in for 4 months, 5 months as it turned out. I moved in there in the January. I moved out in the April or May, whatever it was. I paid a professional company to come in and professionally deep clean the house because, you want your deposit back, don't you? So, I mean, it was spotless. It was much better than when I moved into it. Plus, there were all the improvements that I made. Plus, I left a load of furnishings behind, expensive curtains and stuff like that. So I wasn't expecting any trouble at all. And I got an email from the lettings company saying that they'd been to inspect the house, having, once I'd handed the keys back, and everything was wonderful with the house, but that the garden was in a different state of growth than when I'd moved in. Um, and so they would have to give me a gardening bill, which coincidentally was exactly the same amount as I think it was £700 deposit that security deposit thing that I put down on it. And I said, hang on, right, hang on. I remember where I was. I was at work. Uh, and I was actually around Matlock Bath, delivering around Matlock Bath. And I remember I rang them up as soon as this email pinged through. And I said, right, you're having a bloody laugh. I said, first and foremost, of course, the garden is in a different state of growth. I moved in there in the middle of winter. It's now the beginning of summer. Gardens grow. That's what they do. And secondly, even if the garden did need a little bit of a trim, I'd done all of the lawns and everything. Well, the lawn, it was only one small lawn. I'd refurbished the pond. There was a little pond there. I said, so even if it does need a bit of a trim, it doesn't need 700 quid's worth of bloody work. You're having a laugh. You can get fucked. So I said, sod you. I will send a gardener around there. I will pay the gardener directly. You're trying to have my trousers and pants down, and I'm not having it. Now, I'd rented this place with a different company, so I didn't mind falling out with them. I said, you're having me at it. You can get fucked. Not doing it. I'll send the gardener around there. It's going to cost me 50 quid at the max. And you want to do anything other than that, sue me, or I'll sue you to get the deposit back. And don't think I won't. So I got a phone call back about half an hour later, saying that, yeah, we've had a word with the gardeners and they can do it for 75 quid. Is that all right? And I thought, oh, fuck it. Yeah, that's all right. Bastards, talk about kicking you when you're down. So I find myself living in Windy Bottom. And again, I can remember putting a Facebook post up saying, well, I'm in. It's awful. Everything is on the wonk. There's not a straight surface here. Nothing makes sense. There's nothing to put anything. The kitchen is, the spaces are either too big to put something in or they're too small. I've got nowhere to put a fridge freezer. It's this, it's that. I'm amazed the bloody electric works. Everything in here is pissing ancient. Oh my God. And I absolutely hated it. And it took, and at that point, I'd found out why it had been empty for so long as well. Or I thought I had. What I was told was slightly, but not totally wrong. But yeah, basically, the reason it had been empty for so long was that it was haunted. Oh dear. And I remember doing a Facebook post about that. And on top of everything else, it's this place. And I put a link up to to one of the historical newspaper articles. And I said, so that's all I bloody need, isn't it? And, I was very unhappy. It took about 24 hours for me to totally, utterly, absolutely 100% fall head over heels with this place. That's all it took, about 24 hours. A total emotional turn on the head. I went from hating it and resenting being here to falling so hard in love with the place that it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. God, I fell in love with it. But then that brought another problem, because when I moved in here, and I was aware of all of this, the person that lived here before me was the person that owned it. And he lived here until he was in his late 90s. And then he went into a nursing home. When I viewed it, there was still a stair lift on the stairs. They took it out before I moved in, but the indentations were still there on the carpet. I've had new carpet since then. And the children of the chap had agreed that he didn't want the house sold until after he'd gone. He said, when I'm gone, do what you want. But he didn't want the cottage to be sold until after he'd gone. So that was the arrangement that I moved in under. That remember that I only moved here because there was literally no other alternative other than homelessness. So I moved in the knowledge that when the chap passed away, then the place would be sold and that would be it. I'd be looking for something else again. And I tried to rationalize that by thinking that by the time I'd fallen in love with this and in the area where it is and the idea of living more rurally, then there was no way I was going to go back to a town. So I thought, okay, well, it's played a valuable part. It's shown me where I need to be happy. And so I thought that when the time comes, I will just, I know what I'm looking for. I will go even further out into the peak or into a beautiful little village somewhere, and I know the kind of property and the kind of area that to be happy. So that was how I justified it. And I was here for a year, 2 years, 3 years, I think. I'd got to know the landlord quite well. Well, I say the landlord, one of the two sons of the chap who owned it. And it was one of the sons was dealing with it, and we'd had a few chats. He was a lovely guy, and we had a really good relationship. He wanted me to be happy here. I tell a lie. There had been one tenant before me, and he was an absolute rotter. He ran up a load of bills and scarpered and left them with a right nightmare. I've forgotten about that until now. It's amazing what you remember, isn't it? And Chris and I, the son, we got on great, and I respected the fact that it was, their property, and I looked after it properly. And he respected the fact that it was my home and never gave me any trouble. Anything I needed, I just had to make a phone call and it was sorted. But then after 3 years, it happened, didn't it? The old man passed away. And I thought, right, well, I've had 3 years. I can't grumble. Time to start looking. And and so, yeah, so I was looking around for where I was going to go next. And at some point, there was a knock at the door, and it was Chris. And he said, can we have a chat? And I said, yeah, of course. Come in, I'll put the kettle on, get you whatever. And he kind of said, would you like to, in an ideal world, would you have stayed here? I said, in an ideal world, the only way they would get me out of here would be in a wooden box. I would literally stay here forever. He said, right, because I'm thinking that my brother is insisting that the place is sold. He wants the money. I'm thinking that I will just buy him out and we'll continue the arrangement. Would you be? And I said, too right, I would. Yeah, absolutely. So that was that. That was 7 years ago or whatever it was. And that's the way it's just puddled along. And there you go. There you go. It's been, I still love the place every bit as much, if not more. We've had a brilliant landlord-tenant relationship. Chris threw 20,000 quid at the garden, doing a complete garden remodeling, new driveway, all of that. I try not to bother him with this, that, or the other. If I can sort it myself, I do. But when there is an issue, It's always sorted immediately. I pay my rent on time. I look after the place, and it's, long may it continue. It may not last forever, but it's going all right. Next thing Chris wanted to do was to put in a new bathroom, which, it could do with, to be fair. So there you go. That's taken up the first 40 minutes of the hour, hasn't it? But that is the story of Windy Bum. And I still feel exactly the same way. I would never give this up voluntarily. Now, if Chris decided to sell it, or if Chris passed away, because Chris must be in his 70s now, late 70s possibly, if he would pass away and his children wanted to sell it, then obviously I'd have no choice. Although I'd try and get Bishnu to buy it, and I'd rent it off Bish, something like that. Otherwise, I won't be going anywhere. Now, if things start picking up for me, as I hope they will, then I might not be here full time. I might be hanging out at the Sherpa's Lodge, or I might be hanging out in Snowdonia half the time, or God, who knows what could happen in the future. I might have a place in Gozo. I mean, if something ridiculous happened, like a lottery win, or my YouTube channel became as successful as Sean's, then I'd have a place in Snowdonia, this place here, and I'd have an apartment in Gozo, and I'd live between the three. But I would never give this place up unless I was forced to, for some reason or another. When I got together with Boo, and we started our new life together in Matlock, Bath, in a cottage which I loved pretty much every bit as much as this, I didn't give this place up. Which Boo was completely on board with, completely understood. I worked my ass off even more to make sure that I could afford everything. Thank God I didn't give it up, given that, Boo and I didn't last forever as we planned to. But it'll be the same deal. Unless I'm forced to, then I would never. Comments. Just had a message saying comments. Comments? Is that meant to be? Yeah, maybe. Comments. I'm guessing that was. Yeah, I'm sure there are, but I've been talking. So sorry about that. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes somebody asks a question, I answer it, I get talking, and you can read the comments yourself. You don't need me to read them out to you. That's the point, isn't it? It's an audio-visual thing. Using your visual thing, you can read the comments. And if you wish to, you can listen to me, or you can turn the sound down if I'm boring. But we should have a look at the comments, shouldn't we? After all, they are the meat and vegetables of this professional my ass, says Andrew. They are the meat and vegetables of this Jubilee pancake. So, who joined us? Andrew joined us, Jimmy Quinn, Alan Simpson, the lovely Richard, Paulie Galtieri, diddly-doo. Emma says, I was feeling sorry for Carol Ann, holed up in 0 degrees in her motorhome, until she revealed that it's 24 degrees inside that, and that's far warmer than my house. She says she's making the most of the site electrics. Very sensible. Oh, she'll be snug as a bug in a rug there. So let's all pile into her camper and snuggle up together. Oh, God, Sean, that would be amazing. Wouldn't that be something? I've never heard of that, but bloody hell. Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Uh, Pocahontas 100 is with us. Lord, stiff upper lip. The lovely Sean. Snow is falling all around me. Cars are sliding across the ground. I bet Carol Ann doesn't even need clothes in the caravan. She's got a daughter there with her P2P. I doubt that I very much doubt that she's prancing around naked. Well, she won't be prancing around in any state. It's gone midnight. She'll be asleep, bless her. Curled up in a motorhome in North Yorkshire. How lovely. Where was that one that I missed? Oh, there's one that I was going to read out there and it's disappeared. Never mind. I bet even though Matron is 6, she's still naked, says Emma. Healthy gate, says Carol C. Timestamp 23:38. Fantastic. I'm half an hour behind. Oh well. We've passed the snow baton south, says Alan. No new snow here today in Aberdeen. Still chilly though, so it hasn't melted. Oh, bloody hell. 80 years. God. Well, that was a generous gift because she wouldn't have had it for long, would she? If she was a tenant there for, is that 80 or, 50 years? Sorry, my eyesight. It's not what it was. A real world review of the new pants, comfort, performance, reliability, and cost of ownership. I am wearing a pair of the new pants, and I can report that they are fabulous. Sean is in bed with an earthenware hot water bottle. Bad Books had tuna salad for lunch and sirloin steak with shallot and asparagus sarnies for bloody hell, and a cheeky pud hazelnut goo. Poppy's Travels is tucked up with an electric blanket in amongst the snow. Simone is with us. Don't tell me no fault eviction. Well, yeah, you heard it all. You heard it all. Same thing happened to me, says Claire, after redecorating the whole house because it was awful. I swear blind that you do something like that to a house, they look at it and they think, well, I'd get more for it now. So they hoof you out. Matron joins us. Bloody hell, Boaty's had a haircut, says Tomo, who obviously hasn't been here for a couple of days because, as Steve points out, I did it last week. Yeah. Dear. Steve McDonald is with us and says good evening to everyone. Good evening to you. There's some chocolate talk. I reckon, says Alan Simpson, the ghost caused all the issues with the other properties so it could have you at Windy Bum. It knew. It was the first few months that I was here. The ghosts were terrible. They were terrible. I've told you all before, the taps would turn on, the doors would unlock and be opened in the night, and I'd come down and find front and back door open. My car keys would disappear, then turn up in random places. All sorts of things. The things that were really freaky, I suppose, was because things like that, you don't see them. You just wake up and the door is unlocked. But things happen when I was actually looking, like a drawer would open and close, something like that. And not just when I was here, when guests were here as well. So it was pretty awful to begin with until I started talking to them. Now, I don't believe in ghosts, just to make that clear. But, I believed in what I was seeing and experiencing. So I just spoke to them and I tried to. There was a point where I figured that they were probably they were probably more freaked out than me that, this was their place. And, somebody new coming in and somebody they didn't know and all this, that, and the other. So I just tried to make friends with them. And I spoke to them, and I still do. To this day, I still do. And gradually things just calmed down, and it got to the point where no bad things happened. I'd still hear stuff, and even now you'll hear footsteps upstairs, you'll hear voices, hear laughter, that sort of thing. Because this row of cottages has got a lot of history, and some not great stuff happened here as well. And there are cellars that are mostly filled in, but not all of them. Number 5, the far one, that's still got an opening down to an existing cellar. This one is gone, and I get double helping compared to the others, because my cottage was originally 2 cottages. This was a row of 6. Mine's the one in the middle, and it was the 2 middle cottages that were knocked into one. That's why this is as big as it is. Yeah, and gradually it all just settled down, and then it got to the point where the ghosts would only play up when I brought somebody here. To be honest, that's why Boo and I started a new life in Matlock Bath, because she wouldn't live here. She really struggled being here on her own, or just with little Miss. When they were staying with me and I went to work and they stayed here, they wouldn't go upstairs until I got back home, because that's where most of the activity is. So by the time I got home from work, they'd both be crossing their legs, bursting for a wee, because the bathroom is upstairs. But then I figured out that somebody coming to stay, and I never used to tell people. The first time Fran came and stayed here, I didn't say anything to her at all, and she stayed in the guest cupboard, of course. And the first time that she stayed, came down for breakfast the next morning. She said, "You didn't tell me this place was haunted." I said, "Oh God, what happened? What happened?" So I never told anybody, but they would always tell me. But then I realized there was new people coming in that were freaking the ghosts out because they didn't know them. So what I started doing then was just talking to them and explaining who was coming, how long they were going to be here, what the relationship was, and that they didn't have anything to worry about, that nobody here was going to try and do them any harm. There wasn't going to be a bloody exorcism or anything like that. That was the deal that we had. I said, "Look, this was your place. I'm here at the moment. Let's share. I'm happy to share. I don't mind you being here. I like the company. So if you can rub along with me, I'll rub along with you, and there won't be any trouble." And once I started explaining to them that, who the people were and what was going to happen, then they kind of settled down about that as well. And now there's hardly anything at all. There's the odd thing. There was a thing that happened when Emma was here, but mostly it's all absolutely fine. And as I say, it's nice to have that feeling that you're not totally alone. Nice to have that bit of company. Oh. Right, I better spend this last 10 minutes of the live stream apologising that I've ignored all of your comments, haven't I? Have there been ghostly doings since Hedgie moved in? Asked Peter P. Nothing of note. No. Ah. Do you think Hedgie is on their wavelength? Could Hedgie be the secret weapon? Now you come to mention it, no, there hasn't been a notable incident. Similar thing happened with the house I'm in now, says Emma. The old landlord gave me notice, and this was the only thing I could get. It was a wreck. I love living here now, though. It looks lovely. You've done wonders with it. And Peter P agrees. He says, Emma, turned it into a cosy home. Stu agrees. Thank you, says Emma. Just hope this landlord doesn't give me notice after all the work and money I've put into the place. Yeah. Get on the Housing Association Council list. I don't know if that's aimed at me, Stu, but yeah, you've not got a chance for that. When you're a bloke on your own with no children, then you might get a bed sit in about 300 years. You've not got a chance. It's private or nothing. 70 quid, says Poppy's Travels. My gardener does the lawn and trims the bush for 20 quid. Oh, hello, Ben's here. And his gaydar's going off, as usual. Oh, dear. Yeah, exactly, Claire. Exactly. Evening, Skick. How are you? I don't know how people afford private rent. They're extortionate. Well, yeah. Uh, I'm quite, to be honest with you, darlings, I'm quite lucky with this place because of issues. I mean, apart from the haunting aspect of things, then this is problematical for other reasons for a lot of people. Um, it's, as you know, it's very close to the main road in the area. So there is noise. Um, but you get used to the noise, you learn to ignore it, it's just background noise. And the plus side is that you are quite remote here, quite rural. But when you're this close to the main road, that main road is almost always clear. And it's the first road that they do clear because it's the thoroughfare through the peak. You want to get to Manchester or Wales or anywhere, you've got to use this road. So that means it gets used by road haulage, transport, all of that thing, ambulances, fire engines. It has to be used. So they prioritize it and it's almost always clear. And that means that you're never going to be stranded. So that's that's an upside to living so close to the main road. The other thing is the garden. Now, the garden is beautiful. Some of you will have seen it. It's utterly beautiful. I adore it, but it is not enclosed. So if people have got pets, there's no enclosed place to let their dog go running about or anything like that. And it's a long way to a shop. So there are lots of reasons. Pocahontas has gifted a membership. Thank you very much. Oh, bless you, Pocahontas. Thank you. We'll find out who that went to in a short while. So it was really, when I moved in here, it was, well, honestly, it was under half the price that it should be. Um, Genuinely, it was. This place was notably cheaper than the nondescript semi-detached that I was renting. Now, over the time that I've been here, there have been rent increases, of course, the normal rent increases that you get on an annual basis. Um, I agreed a jump in the rent with the landlord when we had the garden done, 20 grand thrown at it. Prior to that, I'd been paying a gardener. When we had it all professionally done, then to keep it absolutely pristine, we agreed that we would get a more professional gardening company to do it, and we would go halves on it. So that increased the rent, but that was with my agreement, and that worked fine until the bit of a cock up in last year that a lot of you will remember, when the gardeners retired and there was that period when there were no gardeners and a bit of an argument over that, but that was with the company, not with the landlord himself. So yeah, my rent has gone up, but it's still probably I'm still probably paying half of what I should be paying. They'd earn a hell of a lot more if they put it out as a holiday let. You'd earn a fortune with this. This would do, oh God, in high season, this would do 1,500 quid, 2 grand a week or something mad. So it is still an absolute bargain. Ah. Oh, exactly, Ross. Where's Nick when you need renting advice? Is Alex Polizzi Boaty's long lost cousin? I mean, they have the same hair. I've got no idea who that is, but good evening, Barry Scrotter. Interesting answer, says HW100. I bet you're sorry you asked, aren't you? I used to live in a flat where the landlord lived in the flat upstairs, says Black Lines. Absolute fecking nightmare. Got told off if my curtains weren't open by 9 a.m. and was obsessed with polishing the door handle. Bloody hell. Has anyone mentioned the snow, says Debbie Daydream. It's just started snowing here. I'll go and have a quick look outside. I drove home through a bit of a blizzard. I've got it on film. It was just starting, really. Oh, no, it seems to have eased off for the moment. It's about 2 o'clock, between 2 and 3 o'clock, when the real heavy stuff is supposed to kick in. So I'm assuming that I'm going to wake up to everything being carpeted in snow. Nice story about Windy Bum Boaty. Thank you, Jimmy W. Du, du, du. Jimmy Quinn had snow on Friday night. Any chance of moving the hedgehog nearer to the candle? He's cold. We can do that. We can do that. Light snow in South Manchester. Jay Smith says, what are we talking about? Poppy's Travels very kindly says, I'd sooner listen to Boaty's stories than have him reading comments, to be honest. Oh, thank you. That's kind of my thing. There has to. I always think in a live stream it should be. Sometimes it needs to be a little bit more than just reading out comments, doesn't it? I mean, presumably you tune into a live stream because you want to hear whoever's doing it, and if there's a question that makes you go off on one, then I've always thought, well, that should be okay. And the comments can be read. It's not like you guys can't see them. I mean, I always try and keep on top of the comments, and I really, really appreciate them because they're what really matters. Because most of the time, I haven't got anything interesting to say. But on the odd occasion when I do, I hope that you will forgive me for glossing over rather than slavishly reading every single one. And you know me, I like waffling. And that's the short version, says Sean. Yeah. Emma, tomorrow night I'm going to get in early and ask about Boaty's life story. Q, Matron says, Q, it's too late to read the comments. I whiz through them, then Pachu and indeed Bosch. Comments are becoming irrelevant. Dear. Love from India, says Abhay Partap, and all of our love back to you over there in India. Here are the comments. Fill your boots. Well done, Peter P. Well done, Peter P. Yeah, I watched that again today. Sean put a thing up in his Facebook group asking about your favourite moments of the year. So he gave me the chance to share my clip again. I love that clip. You might see a volcano over there. There it is. That's all you're getting. I'm going back to the hotel room and I'm going back to bed. Come to Tenerife, they said. See a volcano, they said. There it is. Fill your boots. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Is it snowing in Windy Bottom? Asked Steve. Not right at this moment, I don't think, but it has been. And it was snowing quite heavily when I got here. Rain, rain, and more rain here in Sussex. Here, the snow is supposed to kick in about, well, let's actually have a look at the weather app. Let's get an up-to-date doing, shall we? Where are we? Weather. Whether the weather is hot or whether the weather is not. Well, whether the weather, whatever the weather, whether it's weather or not. Where is it on this phone? Oh, there it is, BBC weather. Right, for the next hour, heavy snow and a gentle breeze. Yeah, and then snowing heavily through until 4 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, it kind of turns into at 5 o'clock it turns into sleet, bit of snow, bit of rain, bit of sleet, and then that stays the same all through Sunday until, so Sunday's tomorrow, and then at about 4 o'clock it's going to turn into rain. At about 7 o'clock tomorrow it's going to turn into heavy rain, and then on Monday we're back to sleet. Yeah, sleet all day Monday, then cloudy, and then Tuesday, blue skies, sunny intervals and a moderate breeze. So I don't think we're going to have a major event from the look of it. I would imagine that I'm going to wake up to a bit of a blanket of snow, perhaps. But I don't think it's going to be anything horrific. And then from the look of it, it's going to turn sleety. It's going to turn a bit rainy. So I don't see any problems getting to work tomorrow or anything like that. It's not going to be like the last snow. This might just be a slight precursor to the next big one, which typically comes towards the end of January. Oh, excuse me. Oh, serious burpage there. The ghostly doings must have been scary. I didn't find them scary, to be honest. Other people got freaked out. I never did. I don't believe in ghosts, but if there are such things, then I thought, well, they're entitled. They were here before I was. And, the sensible thing to me, whatever they are, if they are anything, guys, but whatever they are, I just thought, try and be friendly with them, try and coexist. And, touch wood, we've been all right. Those first few months, they were genuinely horrendous. Not because I was scared, but because, some of it was dodgy. My 1970s bathroom suite, or maybe even 1960s, there's no overflow in the bath. So if they put the plug in and turn the taps on, then there'd be a flood. And, obviously, unlocking and opening the front and back door will make the place cold in winter. And it means that anybody can walk in and help themselves to what they want. If the car keys disappear, then, well, I mean, you can just take a different card if you've got more than one, but it is an inconvenience. Is that why you exposed the little tinkle to the night air, says Emma, to ward off the ghosts? Emma asked Richard, did you feel anything in the cottage when you were there? Good question. Good question. I never felt any eerie presence when I was there, says Emma. Only Boaties. Do Neil and Sophie not come on the streams anymore? Asked Black Lions. Not seen them for ages. No, they don't. They've life has changed for them. Neil changed his job. Sophie got a job, and I hear from them personally, but no, they're busy doing their own thing. They're a young couple in love, making plans, working hard. You know, making and enjoying their first home together. They've got better things to do at the moment. But they're doing well, they're fine, they haven't fallen out or anything like that. It's just with things as they are for them currently, the live streams kind of don't fit in. Oh, I've just seen your question, says Emma. No, not a thing. The light exploded, but I wouldn't say that was anything paranormal. Oh, Samyog, hello. Blimey. Hello, mate. Cheers. You know, Samyog, that was the guy that I was arm wrestling in the video. He's lovely. Oh, and Emma says, Samyog, thank you very much for making Boaty smell so much better. I smell lovely tonight, I tell you. Oh, I've really enjoyed it. Oh, now we get to the gifted membership, and it went to Z Corp Alpha. Welcome to channel membership, and Pocahontas, thank you as always for your generosity. Debbie Daydreams looked out the window and the snow has stopped for now. Hope we wake up to more tomorrow. I think we will. We certainly will here anyway. The snow's still going here, says Baddy Scrotter. I'm outside having a vape. He gets up and down a lot, doesn't he? I do, yeah. I hate sitting down. I hate being still. I'm no good at it. I like to be. Ideally, I would do my live streams walking around like this. I'm much more comfortable. I don't like sitting down. I don't like being still. Never have done. Struggle to do it. That's why, as all of my regular viewers know, just over there, Debbie, I've got a front parlour with a nice leather sofa and armchair and whatnot. And I never sit down in it because I hate sitting down. Absolutely hate it. I like to be on my feet. I don't use my front parlour hardly. I don't sit on my settee. I don't have a television because the idea of sitting and watching television is awful. Don't know how people do it. But yeah, I hate sitting down. I feel awkward sitting down. I should have played this earlier, but we'll play it now.
Hello, Boaty. Don't forget to pound your box. If you're going out for a nice meal with a lady friend, you're waiting for your food and it turns up under a nice little metal lid. And you lift the lid and it turns out to be a nicely decapitated willy.
Oh, God. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. That was a nice romantic story for a while. Oh, and I was going to sit down again then, but I don't want to. I don't want to sit down. I will pound the box. There it is. There's the box. There is the pound. And in it goes. Oh, look. You can see one of the notes through there. Won't be long now before the box gets emptied and the money gets spent. Thank you, Simone. We all look forward to your voice notes. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Now then, you've got another Chatuary video coming tomorrow, darlings, filmed today, naturally. And once again, it's me driving to work. But today, for various reasons, I suggested, Emma said she didn't know what hers was going to be about. And I suggested this, and she said, no, I don't want to talk about that for various reasons. And so I didn't know what I was going to talk about. And I thought, well, actually, I will talk about this because somebody asked me on a live stream a night or two ago, do I have a girlfriend? Do I have anybody lined up? And do I check out restaurant customers for potential girlfriends and whatnot? I was just generally talking with Emma and I. We've had a bit of a message fest today. We put the world to rights on Messenger. And we were talking about that kind of thing, amongst many, many other things as well. And another community member, Carol Ann, living in the moment. Yes. On a recent video of her, she mentioned that that she thought she might be ready to start dating again and wouldn't mind meeting somebody. So I thought, okay, well, I'll talk about that today. So on today's driving to work Chattery video, then I talk a little bit about all of that sort of thing. And as usual with me, I couldn't keep to the subject. I went off on this, that, and the other. And it's half an hour or possibly slightly more of utter drivel talking about, God knows what. Well, I'm just driving to work. But yeah, it's all that sort of thing, we did it on a live stream the other night a little bit. I was figuring out how long I've actually been single, how long it's been since I had my last date. And not everybody watches the live streams. And so that was my subject for today. So I speak about that, and I wouldn't bother watching it, quite honestly, if I were you. It's all absolute piffle waffle. But then it always is. Turn the sound down, enjoy the views, something like that. I'm getting a whiff of the ombre leather here, says Sammy. You've been getting a whiff all evening. And God, it does look nice. Boaty would look silly in shorts. With my legs, I've got amazing legs. What are you talking about? Have a look at, was it today's video? Have a look at the thumbnail for yesterday's videos and you can see my legs in it. And if you're wondering, or have a look at the cover photograph of my Facebook profile. And those are, see, I'm up again. I can't help myself. And those are my legs. And that was taken very specifically the last time I was in Gozo. And that was taken at outside St. Patrick's Hotel, Shalendi Bay in Gozo. I'm an ex-cyclist. Of course, I've got good legs. I've got amazing legs and I love getting them out in the sun. And I don't look ridiculous in shorts at all. How dare you? Have a look at my Facebook, what do you call it, picture. Not the profile picture, the other one, whatever they call it. And tell me that I look daft in shorts. What are we cooking tomorrow, asked Steve Colg? Well, I'm glad you asked. Beef. Beautiful, extra lean beef joint with all of the normal good things. And some beans that I don't have to chop up like I normally do, and were only 4 shillings. 4 shillings. Admittedly, they will be out of date, but who cares about that? So yeah, I'm properly looking forward to lunch tomorrow. Roast beef, Yorkshire puddings, horseradish, all of the good stuff. Pocahontas says good night, and everybody needs to say good night. It's like 1:45. It's been, yeah, sorry guys, and I'm going to have to whiz through these comments. As Sean always says, talk amongst yourself in the comments. Yeah, exactly. That's what it needs to be sometimes. It's been a pleasure, says Debbie Daydream. Good night all from a slightly snowy Manchester. Well, good night. Thank you for joining us. I hope you come back at some point. You've probably already gone and you're not hearing this. Snowing heavily in Shropshire. No snow for Simone. Boaty, were you still drinking the vodka when you first moved into Windy Bottom? I was. Yeah. But that was nothing to do with the ghostly doings. Other people who didn't drink vodka witnessed plenty of stuff. But yeah, I was about God, when did I give up the boozing? I don't know how long ago it was now, 7 years, something like that. It's been a while. Yeah, I have a glass of wine, but no more. Well, not for a long time. Oh, I still have the occasional vodka now. I didn't after I gave up the vodka. I didn't go near it for oh God, 6 years, something like that. And now it's my little treat when I'm in a hotel, a lovely, well iced vodka and tonic when I'm doing a live stream from a hotel. But thankfully, the days of slightly abusing old father booze are well behind me. Night all, thank you for your company in the story, says Claire. Good night to you. Is that box going to get pounded? It has been. Oh, I think I'm catching up. Yeah, Boaty, I couldn't get on with anything today because of our long chat. Oh, it's nice to have a catch up then. I can't wait until we can have a real life catch up. And I'm really looking forward to the live on Monday. Darlings, right, Monday night. It's Emma's birthday eve. Joint live stream, Monday night, touch wood, all being well. Let's hope nothing goes wrong or awry. And we will see Emma into her birthday. It's her birthday on Tuesday, exactly 1 week before mine. And we will be doing a joint live on Monday night. And it's going to be so much fun. Don't even think about missing it. Simone's going to sleep. Hey, who? What? I've missed something there. I don't know what I missed there. Apparently Emma has spatulated some racist wrongdoer. Will vodka be consumed at the Grand? Asks Emma. A very good question, Emma. And yes, is the answer. Vodka will be... Right, here's my plans for the Grand. Okay? You all know what's happening. You know me. I can't keep anything secret, can I? Hideously indiscreet. So the plan is that, yeah, I will... what will I take? I will take my normal kit. I will take my Tassimo for a coffee in the morning. I haven't booked breakfast at the hotel. I thought I might go out and relive Carver again in honor of my memories with the M11. Yeah, the plan is to take some vodka. I'm hoping I don't have to go to a supermarket to buy a bag of ice like I normally do if I'm staying at a Premier Inn or a Travelers. So I'm hoping that being a decent hotel, I can do what I always used to do in the old days and just get an ice bucket from the bar. But yeah, there will be vodka and tonic for the Monday pre-birthday live stream. And the current plan is to go out into town and get something to eat during the evening. You know, again, a little birthday treat. Maybe go back to Harvey's and again relive that little memory. But I will take my little Neil and Sophie heatery portable thing, and I'm going to take emergency rations. So I'm going to take, and don't judge me for this. Don't judge me for this. I'm going to take a tin of supermarket curry and a packet of, not Uncle Ben's, the own brand, 'cause it's cheaper, rice. And that will be my emergency ration. So if for any reason I arse about and miss eating in town or get carried away dancing with the pensioners or playing bingo at the hotel and don't want to go into town, then I will have some emergency supper rations so I can be sure I get through the night. It was, yeah. Emma's bursting into song. Breakfast was at Carver Cafe. I played them your song in the restaurant last night. We were dead last night and we were dead tonight. So I played them your song. Some of them hadn't seen it. They thought it was rather lovely. If you go to Harvey's, look for Casey Rowland. I was trying to remember the name, so thank you. Yeah, I won't go to the loaf. I definitely won't go to. We know what the loaf can do, don't we? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it would definitely be Carver, and yeah, I'd actually really love to go back to Harvey's, especially if Casey was there. For those who don't know, our second Llandudno trip. Emma and the first trip, it wasn't an overnight, it was a there and back. The second trip, we did an overnight at an Airbnb, and we ate at an American type diner place, a little North Welsh chain called Harvey's. And we had this amazing waitress, young girl, called, apparently, I'll screenshot this so I remember. Casey Rowland, and she was absolutely lovely, and she was so lovely that after we went back to the Airbnb and did a very late live stream, she turned up on the live stream, which was so lovely. So yeah, I would like to go back to Harvey's just in case she was there, and then. And the other thing I'm really looking forward to doing is, Emma, help me. Emma, please help. Is when the season starts again, getting back to the Great Orme Summit Complex and meeting up with Emma. Give me the name. Give me the name, please. Meeting up with that amazing guy who was who'd written a children's book and so on. Emma's going to tell me what was his name? Oh God. I'll screenshot that as well when it comes. Gary, thank you, darling. He was fabulous, and we had his workmates coming on a live stream as well, telling us just how fabulous he was, and that was amazing. That was just the most perfect day. It started out with him telling us off for being somewhere where we shouldn't be, and he gave us a right talking to. And it ended up with, well, you know how it all ended up. So there we are. Yes, I am. I am Paul. Yeah, I am still alive, but I'm buggering off now. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I need to eat and sleep and shower and stuff. And you lot all need to bugger off as well. I'm sure you've got better things to do. Right. On that note, darlings, it really is time to end. It really is time to end. So thank you for your company tonight. I apologize that a lot of this was me talking and not reading your comments, but you know, sometimes that is just a thing. We've got a limited amount of time before I fall unconscious. And yeah, sometimes I do go off on one. I just pinged Gary to Matron by mistake, who's gone to bed, and now she's really confused. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, lovely Casey and lovely Gary. They made they made that thing. It was so special. They both made it onto the thumbnail of my video as well. And it would be amazing to, I mean, I've got no chance of seeing Gary. I don't know what he does when the Summit Complex is closed. But yeah, I really should. Yeah, maybe that's what I should do. I should go back to Harvey's for dinner, and you know, maybe Casey will be on duty. Right, okay. Everybody's saying good night. So on that note, darlings, let me wish you all a safe, peaceful, warm, and comfortable night. A good Sunday ahead. I hope you find some pleasure to take from it. And that's it. That's it. Take really good care of yourselves. Take care of those who love and who love you. And above all, the candle will be relit 11 o'clock tomorrow night. Please join me if you can. Thank you to Pocahontas 100 for the gifted membership. Thank you to all for your company. Much love from me. Can't wait to see you next time. So on that note, pachoo! And indeed, oh yes, bosh.